Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to do a better late than never 5-star predictions video. I feel like this is several months too late. Like, I am filming this on April 30th, like we are 5 months into the year, but I also have not really read a 5-star book. I feel like I think the only one I've read that has been 5 stars has been Pet by Akweke Emezi. And I don't even think I would have considered that a 5-star predictions. So I still thought this would be fun just because I haven't read really any 5 stars so far. And I kind of want to do what most booktubers do, is that like a year from now in 2022, I want to like reflect on this video, see how many books I read, and then also see how many actually ended up being 5 stars. Like, how much do I know myself and what I think I'll love in books? Is essentially it. Like, that's really what this is all about. I have a ton of books to get through. I have a few books in person that are right here next to me, but most of them, I just have them pulled up on Goodreads right now. And I'm not great with synopses. Like, I really don't know a lot of what these books are about. Some of them I'm going to have to read you the synopsis and you'll kind of get the gist from there. And others, I literally have no idea what they're about and I don't care. I have a feeling. It's my gut feeling, and we'll see what those are when we get to them. So let's jump into the video. I have 4 books in person that I think are going to be 5 stars that I haven't gotten to yet. So for one reason or another, we're not going to get into that right now. But the first book that I have is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This, I have read all of Elizabeth Acevedo's books and have given them all 5 stars. So this is just kind of like I think it's a shoo-in. Like, I think it's just going to happen. In case you don't know what this book is about or haven't read Elizabeth Acevedo, Clap When You Land is about 2 girls, one who lives in New York and one who lives in the Dominican Republic. And one day they are kind of like thrust together when they find out that their father died in a plane crash. But they find out that their father, that they're half-sisters and they've kind of been living completely separate lives. Their dad has been flying from New York to the Dominican Republic and has been keeping these 2 families secret from each other. And it's them kind of like connecting and grieving, and it's gonna be beautiful. And I think this is told in prose as well. Yeah, so it's all told in poetry. That's Elizabeth Acevedo's thing. And just from her track record, our history, I think I'm gonna love it. The next book, I actually had no idea. It wasn't on my radar at all until I saw, I think the first person I saw was Kayla from Books and Lala talking about it. And it is Alatswe by Darcy Little Badger. I think this is gonna be 5 stars. First of all, because of the description. Don't know much about it except that this kind of takes place in like a slightly different America, where I think American culture is much more tied to indigenous culture, and the main character Alatswe, I think, trying to solve the murder of her cousin using her magic. I don't know, but both of those things I love. And I also think I'm gonna love it because I ended up reading an anthology, Love Beyond Body, Space, and Time. And I think my favorite story from that anthology was written by Darcy Little Badger. So I think both from my history with Darcy Little Badger's writing and kind of like the description of Alatswe, I think I'm really, really going to love this. I love contemporaries with like a hint of like speculative fiction. So this seems right up my alley. The next one is actually one I have not heard a lot of people talking about, or anyone for that matter, and it is Little Universes by Heather Demetrios. And this one, I have to be honest, and I mostly bought it for the cover. I think the cover is absolutely stunning. This, from my understanding, is about 2 sisters and their parents die in like a tsunami accident. And then they have to move from California to Boston. And it's kind of like them dealing with their grief and kind of like their downward spirals. I love stories that make me sad. Like, I love stories that make me want to cry. And I think a story about two sisters and one having a drug addiction and then trying to get over the tragic loss of their parents, I think kind of falls into that category that I really love. And I don't know, something about sisters kind of like reconnecting and seeing and finding their worth in each other, I think is really beautiful. So this is like a long shot. I have no idea about Heather Demetrios' writing. This seems to have really high ratings on Goodreads though. So I think I'm going out on a limb and saying it, but I really, really hope I'm gonna love it. I really hope. Sandra from the future will tell me. It would not be a Sunday Reads and Things video if I didn't mention a graphic novel. I think I'm going to mention at least two, this being one of them. But the one that I have right now in person is Are You Listening? By Tilly Walden. This is about two characters, Bea and Lou, and they kind of find themselves on this road together and this road trip, and where weird things start like happening on the road, and there's a cat and like these officers that are like tailing them, and like the landscape starts changing, and it's all about like human connection. And I think they're also running from their trauma. I think one or both of them might have been sexually assaulted. And so I think it's them kind of like reconnecting or like connecting from their trauma and like being there for each other maybe. I literally, the synopsis is like 3 sentences. Like it's not giving me much to work on. But again, it's the contemporary, like a hard-hitting contemporary with hints of like magic, like surrealism that I am in love with. Like I truly think, and someone did leave a comment on my last video saying that they really, really loved this. So I think this isn't too far off to say that I'm gonna love it. So those are the 4 that I have that are in person, and the rest are all just ones that I have like in my Goodreads, like my want to read section. The first I have is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. This is Aiden Thomas's second book, and I did read their debut novel, Cemetery Boys, and I really enjoyed it. I had my issues with it, but overall, Aiden Thomas's writing is incredible. Lost in the Neverwoods is another kind of like reach. Like, I hope I'm gonna love it, simply because I don't have great track records with retellings, especially Disney retellings. Lost in the Neverwoods is a retelling of Peter Pan, so it follows Wendy and her 2 brothers, and I think her 2 brothers get like taken into the woods, like they get kidnapped, and then Wendy finds a boy in the middle of the road named Peter, and then I guess it's kind of like her journey of her having to like go into the woods and like face things about herself. It seems just slightly enough based off of Peter Pan that I think I might be able to love it. Again, I'm going out on a limb, but I'm saying it right now. So we'll see what happens. Next we have Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulay. And all I know is that it is about an indigenous woman from the Ojibwe, I think? Yeah, Ojibwe tribe. And she kind of like witnesses a murder or like witnesses a death revolving like drugs, and somehow gets involved in like an FBI investigation. I'm a little confused, but I think this is going to be my first young adult thriller. I thought originally it was a contemporary, but the fact that it is a thriller has me very curious. And I did see the preview for the first few pages, and the writing seems so engaging. So this one I'm excited about. It has 4.5 stars right now. 4.5 on Goodreads. That's insane. I have high hopes. And the next one is The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. And this one I have as 5 stars, or a 5-star predictions, simply because I think the cover is breathtaking. Like, I think this cover is one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen on a book. It's fantastical. It's categorized under science fiction because it's about like 2 sisters separated by like an abandoned island. Like one sister is like isolated on an island by herself, and the other sister is like in this really very sci-fi world, and I'm just very interested. It seems weird, and it seems wacky, and it says that If We Were Liars meets Black Mirror with a dash of Studio Ghibli. That's it. That's all I need to know. 5 stars. 5 stars. We'll see. This literally was just a cover 5-star predictions. Like, no book that has this cover, we're gonna pop it up again because it's that beautiful. No book with this kind of cover is going to be less than a 3-star. Like, there's absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way. I won't believe it. Next is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. I don't know. I can't explain this one. I just have a really good feeling about it. And I hope that I'm right. This one. Ooh, this one. Okay, this next one is called May the Best Man Win by Z.R. Eliot. And this one is about a trans boy who's going into his senior year of high school, and he's not going to let, like, the homophobia, or not really maybe homophobia, but he's not going to let the transphobia in his school kind of, like, bring him down. So he wants to, like, shake up the waters of his school. Is that the term? Shake up, something like, you know what I mean. He's trying to kind of shake up his school, and he is going to run against his ex-boyfriend for prom king. Homecoming king, sorry. Jeremy is the main character of the story, and Lucas is the, like, all-star ex-boyfriend. And Jeremy is, like, extremely competitive, and Jeremy and Lucas dated before Jeremy had transitioned and come out. And it's about kind of, like, them reconnecting and, like, falling back in love and, like, a rivalry. I love that. I love, like, rivals to lovers. Like, I read this for the first time and I squealed. I am so excited. I think this is just gonna be very enjoyable. It's possible it might be pretty hard-hitting just because of the, like, subject matter, but I hope it stays very lighthearted. I think it's gonna be great. This next one is What Big Teeth by Rose Zabo. Zabo? Not Zabo. That doesn't sound right. And this one is one that I kind of have to read you the description. It doesn't have much of a description on Goodreads, but I literally have no other way of summing this up. Like, I don't even understand the summary.
Eleanor Zarin has been estranged from her wild family for years. When she flees boarding school after a horrifying incident, she goes to the only place she thinks is safe, the home she left behind. But when she gets there, she struggles to fit in with her monstrous relatives who prowl the woods around the family estate and read fortunes in the guts of birds. Eleanor finds herself desperately trying to hold the family together in order to save them all. Eleanor must learn to embrace her family of monsters and tame the darkness inside her. Exquisitely terrifying, beautiful, and strange, this fierce gothic fantasy will sink its teeth into you and never let go.
It says it's for fans of Wilder Girls. Wilder Girls, I also gave 5 stars. And this seems like just intriguing enough for me to be like, now what's that? Like, what's that all about? I think this is going to be very weird. It has like 3.5 stars, like average ratings. So it seems like it's very, like, divisive. But I think Wilder Girls is the same thing. Let's see. Wilder Girls has the exact same rating, 3.54 stars. And I think anyone that rates Wilder Girls low is out of their fucking mind. Like, I think Wilder Girls is exceptional. And so now that just makes me believe in this more. Like, I think What Big Teeth is going to be so weird. So weird. And that's what I'm hoping for. Like, that's what I'm really hoping for here. Okay, definitely there are 3 graphic novels on my 5-star predictions. The second one is called The Magic Fish by Trung Le Nguyen. And this is about a boy. His name is Tien. And Tien knows that he's gay, but he has no way of telling his Vietnamese family. He kind of, like, falls into this, like, magical, like, fairy tale book. I think maybe given to him by his grandparents or his family. And he kind of, like, takes journeys through this fairy tale book. And then I think finds the words to tell his parents who he really is. And, like, that he's gay. And finally, like, come out to them, maybe. I think this is going to be heartbreaking. I think this is going to be beautiful. And I love it. Again, speculative fiction. Like, that speculative twist, the hard-hitting, like, subject matter. I think this is gonna be perfect. Like, I truly believe this will be 5 stars easily. This one is very, very interesting. This is called When You Trap a Tiger by Tate Keller. This one is also really short, so I'm just gonna read you the synopsis.
Some stories refuse to stay bottled up. When Lily and her family move in with her sick grandmother, a magical tiger straight out of her Halmoni's Korean folktales arrives, prompting Lily to unravel a secret family history. Long, long ago, Halmoni stole something from the tigers. Now the tigers want it back. And when one of those tigers offers Lily a deal, return what Halmoni stole in exchange for Halmoni's health, Lily is tempted to accept. But deals with tigers are never what they seem. With the help of her sister and her new friend Ricky, Lily must find her voice and the courage to face a tiger.
I think this is middle grade. Yes, children's middle grade. And it sounds so cool. It sounds so interesting, very similar to The Magic Fish in the sense of it's weaves folk tales and the real world. And next is Heartstopper Volume 4. I don't have to say more about it. I've given all 3 of the Heartstopper volumes 5 stars. 5 stars. And I think this one's gonna be no different. I think this is the last one. And that breaks my heart to think, but this follows the story of Nick and Charlie and kind of them falling in love in high school, and yeah, it's just lovely. Like, it's so good. The art is so cute, and Nick and Charlie are so cute, and this is being made, I can't find the words. This is being adapted by Netflix, and I'm just in love with it. It has all the hype for so many reasons, and it is all justified, and I'm in love. And I know this is gonna be 5 stars. I just know it. The next one is The Valley and the Flood by Rebecca Mahoney. And this one, I'm going to read you the synopses as well, because I also think I think the really weird stories are the ones that I have to read. Like, I can't describe them well, and so I just need to read the synopses for you.
Rose Coulter is almost home, but she can't get back there yet. When her car breaks down in the Nevada desert, the silence of the night is broken by a radio broadcast of a voicemail message from her best friend Gabby. A message Rose has listened to countless times over the past year. The last one Gabby left before she died. So Rose follows the lights from the closest radio tower to Lotus Valley, a small town where prophets are a dime a dozen, secrets lurk in every shadow, and the diner pie is legendary. And according to Cassie Siren, the town's 3rd most accurate prophet, they've been waiting for her. Because Rose's arrival is part of a looming prophecy, one that says a flood will destroy Lotus Valley in just 3 days' time. Rose believes if the prophecy comes true, then it will confirm her worst fear. The PTSD she was diagnosed with after Gabby's death has changed her in ways she can't face. So with help from new friends, Rose sets out to stop the flood, but her connection to it and to this strange little town runs deeper than she could have imagined.
Doesn't it sound good? It sounds so good. Stop. That sounds so good. That sounds 5 stars good. Next is Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray. This one I don't really want to go over too much, but I also don't really have like this great of an explanation. I discovered this from my experience in the video that I posted recently about me going window shopping for recent releases. This was one of them. All I know is that it has ancient deadly secrets. Ancient deadly secrets! And it is about, I think, 2 people like forced together to like hunt this legendary beast and uncovering ancient deadly secrets, and I think maybe like falling in love. I'm very interested in this. This is my own, like, one of the only fantasies I have, like hardcore high level fantasy books that I have on here, and I'm very into it. Ooh, in that same video of me reacting to recent like announcements and releases, I discovered Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World by Benjamin Alire Sainz, and this one is a sequel to Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which I gave 5 stars and I cried and I enjoyed so thoroughly. And this one follows the story of Ari and Dante, where in the first book they really, they admitted their love to each other, and it kind of chronicles their friendship and their falling in love. And in this one, it really focuses on like their relationship and how they help each other. And I'm probably gonna cry for this one too. Just because of my history with the first book, I'm convinced this one's also gonna be 5 stars. The next one is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. And this one is a retelling of the Korean folktale Shimtong. And again, this is a huge synopsis. And I don't need to know it. I don't need to read it. I just know that this cover, again, is absolutely stunning. It's stunning, babes. And that's all I need to know. 5 stars. And the very, very, very last one for this 5-star predictions is House of Holo by Crystal Sutherland. And I think this one follows 3 sisters. Again, another story with sisters. Follows 3 sisters. From my understanding, all 3 of these girls went missing and everyone was convinced that they died. But then one day, all 3 of these girls come back. They just reappear. One of the sisters disappears again. And then it's up to the main character. I think we follow the sister Iris. And it's kind of like Iris hunting down her sisters and trying to figure out what happened to them. That they can't remember. Like, they can't remember what happened to them. And it's her trying to figure out what happened. And I think the thing that took them, or the thing that happened to them, is coming back. And it feels weird. The cover is solely the reason why this is 5 stars. I mean, mostly the description too, because the description does seem like something I would love. Again, speculative. It's weird. It's them kind of like discovering the weirdness that happened to them. But it's mostly the cover. Like, I have to admit, it's mostly the cover. And anyway, guys, that is it. Those are all of my 5-star predictions for 2021. I'm very excited for all of these. We'll see in a year, in 2022, how I ended up liking, if I ended up reading all of these, and how they turned out. Feel free to let me know in the comments if any of the ones I mentioned, what your thoughts were about them. I would love to see the general consensus. I'm very curious. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.